In the year 1915, amidst the occupation of Korea by Japan, a captivating tale unfolds. In the heart of this tumultuous era, a Korean woman named Yang Jin sought solace from a shaman, her anguished words spilling forth. She confessed the heart-wrenching loss of her 3 beloved sons, and now, burdened with impending motherhood, she trembled at the thought of a curse befalling her. Desperate for her unborn child's safety, Yang Jin divulged her deepest longing to bring joy to her ailing husband, whose spirit was battered by an unforgiving illness. Guided by the shaman's ancient wisdom, Yang Jin defied the odds and gave birth to a daughter, Soon-ja, a beacon of hope and promise. As the years wove their tapestry, Soon-ja blossomed into a radiant and spirited young girl, her beauty rivaling the sun's gentle embrace. Her contagious laughter danced through the air, while an unwavering bravery coursed through her veins. Ever the embodiment of kindness, Soon-ja became a trusted friend to all, her talents extending beyond mere companionship. With a remarkable skill for bargaining, she fearlessly navigated the bustling Yeongdo village market, championing the cause of weary fishermen, ensuring fair prices for their prized catches. Yet, their harmonious existence was often shadowed by the ominous presence of Japanese soldiers, who cast a heavy pall over the village, their oppression a constant weight upon the shoulders of the Korean people. Transported to the vibrant city of New York in the year 1989, we find ourselves amidst the hustle and bustle of ambition. Here, we meet Solomon, a determined Korean man who has carved a path of success in the United States. Though his career gleams with accomplishments, Solomon's aspirations hit a roadblock as the coveted promotion he yearned for slipped through his grasp. Yet, undeterred by this setback, he summoned his courage and approached his superiors with the proposition, if he could lead the upcoming grand project to triumph, his long-awaited promotion should be his rightful reward. Fate weaves its intricate threads, for it so happens that this very project beckons Solomon back to the embrace of his homeland Osaka, Japan. Eagerly treading the familiar streets of his childhood, he seeks solace and guidance from his father, the esteemed Mozasu. As the proud proprietor of a lively casino and game haven known as Pachinko, Mozasu's eyes brim with delight and an unmistakable sense of pride upon beholding his accomplished son. As the evening sun bathed Solomon's humble abode, a knock on the door heralded the arrival of his aunt, Itsuko. With her came a flood of memories, for Itsuko's daughter, Hana, shared a tender connection with Solomon since their youthful days. Alas, fate had conspired to separate them, and Hana had vanished without a trace, leaving Solomon to yearn for her return. The passage of time turned into an eternity of silence, and the news of Hana's disappearance cast a shadow over their lives. Seeking solace, Solomon sought refuge in the loving embrace of his grandmother, the remarkable Soon-ja. Now, let us drift back in time to when the world was but a playground for a young Soon-ja. Even in her tender years, she possessed a myriad of talents, fearlessly diving into the depths to retrieve the prized abalone. Soon-ja's parents, custodians of a humble room rental business catering to the weary fishermen. Under the veil of night, a group of weary fishermen sought respite at the humble abode of Soon-ja's parents. In the depths of intoxication, one fisherman unleashed a torrent of frustrations, his anguished words reverberating through the air, decrying the oppression that weighed upon Korea. Yet, his outburst hung heavy with peril, for any mention of Japanese soldiers posed a grave risk. Yang Jin, burdened by anxiety, feared the repercussions if their words reached the ears of the occupying forces. The specter of betrayal loomed over the community, and as the sun dawned, Soon-ja summoned her courage to confront the intoxicated fisherman, sternly reminding him of the danger his actions posed to those around him. As day broke, the chilling presence of Japanese soldiers materialized at Soon-ja's doorstep, their purpose clear. They sought Song, the inebriated fisherman from the previous night. Filled with urgency, Soon-ja hurriedly sought her father, Hoon, beseeching him to return home swiftly. Hoon, carrying the weight of guilt, extended his apologies to the Japanese soldiers, realizing that he should have reported Song's presence to them earlier. Eventually, the soldiers departed, having failed to locate Song within Soon-ja's place. Dawn broke, casting a foreboding pall over Yeongdo village once more. Japanese soldiers, fueled by suspicion, arrested Song, branding him a traitor. Soon-ja's heart shattered as she witnessed the harsh treatment inflicted upon him, seeking solace in her father's comforting embrace, tears streaming down her cheeks, unable to bear the injustice. Time pressed forward, and the tides of fate shifted. On the very day the Japanese emperor, the oppressor of Korea, drew his last breath, Hoon, Soon-ja's father, succumbed to the relentless grip of his illness. In the wake of their dual departures, grief and resilience intertwined within Soon-ja's tender heart. Her father's parting words echoed in her mind, urging her to grow into a person of strength and valor, to become the guardian of her grieving mother. In the passage of 9 years, a figure of striking handsomeness emerged in Yondo village, Hansu, a Japanese man of noble lineage and now the esteemed head of the traditional market industry. However, his attention swayed when he caught sight of Sun-ja, the epitome of bravery, striding through the streets, refusing to bow to the Japanese soldiers who lined her path. Intrigued by her defiance, Hansu's curiosity was piqued, leading him to inquire about Sun-ja's identity from a local vendor. Meanwhile, Sun-ja, sensing a watchful gaze upon her, locked eyes with Hansu, forging an unspoken connection. Whispers of Hansu's dazzling looks and boundless wealth spread like wildfire, captivating the villagers of Yondo. He became the embodiment of riches, the idol of women, even enchanting his own devoted servant. Yet, beneath his appealing facade, Hansu earned a reputation as a shrewd and unyielding businessman, his heart guarded by a veneer of ruthlessness. As Sun-ja reached the bustling harbor, her gaze was drawn to Hansu, who stood tall, reprimanding his fishermen for their lackluster catch. Transfixed by his commanding presence, she found herself unable to tear her eyes away from him, her heart dancing with anticipation and intrigue. Meanwhile, the spotlight shifts back to Solomon's life, where he finds himself amidst the jubilant celebrations of Mr. Abe's wedding. Amidst the merriment, Solomon reunites with his childhood friend, Aojiki, a Japanese citizen. Once a source of disdain for Solomon due to his Korean heritage, Aojiki now stands in awe of Solomon's remarkable achievements, a transformation that leaves him astounded. As Solomon joined his colleagues at work, an uneasy tension settled upon them whenever he broached the topics of nationality and the haunting legacy of Japanese colonization in Korea, a chapter they wished to relegate to the past. These conversations stirred discomfort, for they reminded them of the painful history that still lingered in their collective memory. In another corner of the world, Sun-ja tended to her ailing sister-in-law, Kyung-hee. In the hushed moments of care, their hearts turned nostalgic, yearning for a past they both held dear. Kyung-hee's voice trembled with emotion as she posed a question that tugged at their shared memories, asking if Sun-ja still carried the remembrance of Han-su in her heart. The scene takes back to Sun-ja's youth, where a spirited encounter unfolded. Han-su, displeased with his fishermen for selling small fish to Sun-ja, reprimanded them sternly. Undeterred, Sun-ja defended the fishermen, explaining that she deliberately chose the smaller fish as part of a barter arrangement, rather than a purchase. Her words, however, irked Han-su, who curtly dismissed her presence, leaving her disheartened. Returning to the comforts of home, Sun-ja immersed herself in her ongoing efforts to assist her mother, Yang-jin. Their humble residence now employed 2 individuals, yet Sun-ja's countenance soured whenever her employees indulged in discussions about Han-su's captivating appearance. As the sun painted the Yondo village market with its golden hues, fate took a curious turn. Sun-ja discovered a gift left for her by Han-su, entrusted to a local merchant. Yet, Sun-ja, ever steadfast in her principles, politely declined the offering, deeming Han-su's gesture impolite. Just as the day neared its end, a sinister shadow darkened Sun-ja's path. A group of Japanese youths, driven by wicked intentions, threatened to shatter her safety and dignity. In a stroke of fortune, Han-su materialized as her knight in shining armor, his timely arrival warding off the impending danger. With unwavering determination, he whisked Sun-ja away from harm's reach, ensuring her well-being as they journeyed back to the safety of her home. As their paths entwined, Sun-ja and Han-su forged a connection that grew ever stronger. Grateful for his gallant defense, Sun-ja vowed to cleanse Han-su's soiled shirt as a gesture of appreciation. They sealed their burgeoning friendship with a promise to meet again the following day. True to her word, Sun-ja reunited with Han-su as the sun painted the sky with its gentle hues. She diligently fulfilled her promise, meticulously washing away the stains from his shirt. However, a pang of offense pricked Sun-ja's heart when Han-su inquired about her literacy. In that moment, she felt the weight of her humble origins, stripped of the finery that adorned Han-su and her affluent companions. In a moment of vulnerability, Han-su confided in Sun-ja, revealing that he too hailed from humble origins. Despite their poverty, he nurtured a steadfast dream, refusing to surrender to the harsh realities of their circumstances. Encouraging Sun-ja, he saw beyond her self-perceived inadequacies, assuring her that she possessed the potential for greatness. With a glimmer of hope in his eyes, Han-su extended an invitation for another meeting, igniting a flame of possibility within Sun-ja's heart. The scene shifts, delving into Solomon's world. As night descended, Mozasu received news from the detective he had hired to search for Hana. The information carried a bittersweet weight, for Mozasu shared the tidings with Itsuko, revealing the troubling reality of Hana's life. Itsuko's heart swayed between joy and sorrow upon learning that Hana had endured a life of prostitution. In an unexpected turn, Solomon received a phone call from Hana and his heart leapt with joy. Expressing his longing for her, he poured out his emotions, desperately missing her presence. However, Hana's response was laced with jealousy, revealing her inner turmoil as she mentioned Solomon's attractive coworker. Solomon's heart sank, realizing that Hana must be nearby, watching him. Their conversation took a somber turn as Hana confessed that she couldn't yet return to her family, abruptly ending the call. Meanwhile, the narrative weaves back to Soon-ja's youth, where the bond between her and Han-soo deepens with each passing day. One fateful day, Han-soo leads Soon-ja into the enchanting forest in search of mushrooms. Amidst the serene beauty of nature, their emotions swirl, pulling them closer until passion ignites, and they find themselves entwined in a moment of profound intimacy. In the wake of their passionate encounter, Soon-ja and Han-soo found solace and intimacy in each other's arms, their love making a tapestry woven with desire and longing. Their encounters became an almost ritualistic affair, each meeting bringing them closer, until one day Soon-ja discovered that she carried within her the gift of new life, a precious child conceived through their love. However, their joy was tinged with sorrow, for Han-soo's path led him back to Osaka, leaving Soon-ja disheartened, uncertain if he would ever return to Yeongdo village. The narrative now transitions to a time when Soon-ja has aged gracefully, weathering the years with strength and grace. On this particular day, the world bid farewell to Kyung-hee, Soon-ja's sister-in-law. As the flames of Kyung-hee's cremation ceremony danced, a summer gathering unfolded, uniting the closest members of their family, including Solomon, who stood among them. Returning to the vibrant tapestry of Soon-ja's youth, an entire week slipped by as she anxiously awaited news of Han-soo's return. Finally, the familiar figure of Han-soo graced the streets of Yeongdo village, and Soon-ja's heart swelled with joy at the sight of his arrival. The fear that he had departed forever dissolved, replaced by a radiant happiness that illuminated her being. In a tender gesture, Han-soo bestowed upon Soon-ja a splendid clock, symbolizing the gift of time and the promise of teaching her its secrets. As their conversation unfolded, Soon-ja summoned her courage and shared the precious news of her pregnancy. Han-soo's face lit up with sheer delight, expressing his longing for a son, a dream he had cherished. Soon-ja, bathed in the warmth of his response, beamed with joy and extended an invitation for Han-soo to meet her mother as they now embarked on the enchanting journey of wedding plans. In an unforeseen twist, Han-soo revealed an insurmountable obstacle to their union. He already had a wife and 3 daughters residing in Osaka. Despite his marital ties, Han-soo emphasized that his proposed alliance with Soon-ja would be devoid of love, solely driven by business interests. He tantalized her with promises of a lavish lifestyle, on the condition that she forsake the bonds of marriage and bear their child. Soon-ja, wounded by Han-soo's proposition, grappled with the depths of her pain. However, a cruel twist of fate awaited her, as Han-soo inadvertently threatened her by insinuating that no respectable man would desire to marry a child born from the lineage of a diseased parent, alluding to her father's ailment. In an act of resilience, Soon-ja made the heart-wrenching decision to sever ties with Han-soo. Yet, the tempestuous storm of anger within Han-soo persisted, propelling him to unleash a tirade of hurtful words, further exacerbating Soon-ja's emotional turmoil. In a distant land, there existed a strikingly handsome man, clad in fashionable attire, whose appearance hinted at a hidden ailment. This man, weary from his journey, arrived in the enchanting Yeongdo village, his eyes scanning for refuge from the pouring rain. After a relentless search, he chanced upon the inn owned by Hoon, a humble and caring soul. However, fate had a cruel twist in store for him, as he collapsed right at the inn's doorstep, leaving Hoon and the compassionate Soon-ja frantic with worry. With unwavering determination, they tenderly nursed the man, known as Ishak, back to health. Little did they know that Ishak was a priest, newly assigned to a nearby church, who would bring both solace and transformation to Yeongdo village. Meanwhile, the aging Soon-ja found herself pondering the fragility of life in the wake of Kyung-hee's departure. She realized that the world held little meaning once its caretakers had departed. These introspective thoughts echoed through the mind of Solomon, who couldn't shake the weight of Soon-ja's profound words. An idea, born from his restless contemplation, took hold of him. He would arrange a meeting between Soon-ja and an elderly landowner, known for her steadfast refusal to sell her precious land to the company where Solomon toiled. Perhaps, Solomon thought, Soon-ja's presence could ignite a change of heart within the resolute old woman. The following day, Solomon and Soon-ja embarked on a visit to the elderly lady's residence. Instantly, a remarkable connection bloomed between Soon-ja and the old woman, as they discovered their shared age and remarkably similar pasts. They delved into the tales of their youth, marred by the painful memories of Korea's colonization by Japan. In the embrace of these haunting stories, tears welled up in their eyes. Despite the emotional bond formed, the old woman remained steadfast in her refusal to sell her cherished land. Soon-ja empathized with her reasoning, but Solomon, his plan thwarted, wore a crestfallen expression that painted his disappointment. Days later, the jubilant voices of Solomon's colleagues resounded with congratulations. Astonishingly, news spread that the resolute landowner had finally agreed to sell her property. Mr. Andrew, Solomon's boss, was profoundly impressed by the brilliance of Solomon's idea to bring his own grandmother to meet the landowner. Amidst the joyous celebration, Solomon's phone rang, and his heart raced with anticipation. It was Hana calling. Hana had been trying to reach him repeatedly, her voice revealing a concerning cough. Just as worry etched onto Solomon's face, Mr. Abe appeared, extending an invitation to join the festivities. In a distant land, Sunja made a heartfelt plea to her son, Mozasu, urging him to accompany her on a poignant journey back to South Korea. Her purpose was to release Kyunghee's cremation ashes, her dear departed friend, in their shared homeland. Determination etched upon their faces, they embarked on a voyage bound by sorrow and reverence. The narrative then shifted to the younger days of Sunja, where she mustered the courage to reveal her pregnancy to her mother, Yang Jin. The weight of sadness filled the air as Yang Jin understood the complexity of Sunja's situation, a pregnancy with a married man who couldn't marry her. Mother and daughter found solace only in shared tears, grieving over the painful circumstances fate had woven around them. Yet, unbeknownst to them, their heartfelt exchange caught the ears of Isak, who had awakened from his slumber and showed signs of improvement. On the following day, Isak sought permission to venture out in search of a payphone. Being a newcomer, Sunja decided to accompany him to the heart of bustling Yeongdo village. As they strolled along, Sunja's gaze fell upon Han-soo by the pier, yet she chose to avert her eyes, holding tight to her resolve. Isak, sensing the weight of emotions lingering within Sunja, extended a gracious invitation to share a meal at a lively tavern. Before indulging in their feast, Isak guided Sunja in a heartfelt prayer to God. Amidst this sacred moment, Isak broached the subject of Sunja's pregnancy, which he had overheard the previous day. Sunja, with unwavering determination, expressed her unwavering decision to embrace motherhood and face any challenges that may lie ahead. In fact, she had already planned to leave the village, determined not to burden her mother with her struggles. In a moment filled with immense emotions, Isak was deeply moved by Sunja's unwavering confidence. Gathering his courage, he mustered the words to ask Sunja to become his wife. Isak longed for her to leave behind the man who had caused her pain, as he offered his unwavering support in raising the child conceived by Sunja. Overwhelmed by a mix of sadness and heartfelt sentiments, Sunja responded with a resolute declaration that she was ready to let go of the man who had been irresponsible to her, despite her past love for him. A few days later, preparations for Isak and Sunja's wedding were underway. Isak found himself at a suit tailor shop, seeking alterations for a suit gifted by his brother. Fate intertwined their paths once again when Han-soo coincidentally appeared in the same place, instantly recognizing Isak. Han-soo's sarcastic gaze pierced Isak, insinuating that his illness could be contagious. Remarkably, Isak chose not to take offense and responded with wisdom and grace. He brushed off Han-soo's mockery of his old suit, maintaining his composure even when Han-soo offered to buy him a new one. Deep down, Isak recognized that Han-soo was a man whom Sunja held affection for. As he departed, Isak placed an order for a wedding suit, aware of the jealousy and suppressed emotions that simmered within Han-soo, silently bearing witness to the joyful conversation between Isak and the suit tailor. Time passed, and Sunja's wedding day arrived. However, the gathering was modest, attended only by Yang Jin, who wore a mix of happiness and sorrow upon her face, aware of Sunja's pregnancy. Initially, the priest hesitated to officiate the ceremony, considering Sunja's pregnancy a grave sin according to Christian beliefs. But Isak, with heartfelt sincerity, shared Sunja's selflessness and kindness in saving him. Touched by his plea, the priest granted their union. Overwhelmed with emotions, Sunja wept and pleaded for forgiveness from God for her perceived transgressions. In the end, a simple yet profound wedding unfolded, enveloping Sunja and Isak in a moment of pure happiness. Following their eventful outing, Yang Jin embarked on a deliberate mission to procure a precious commodity, white rice. Though initially hesitant, the shop owner was reluctant to sell it to her as it was reserved for Japanese citizens. However, upon learning that the rice was intended as a gift for Sunja's impending wedding, the shopkeeper relented and granted Yang Jin her request. Back at home, Yang Jin poured her heart into meticulously preparing a feast for Sunja and Isak. With tears streaming down her face, Sunja savored each morsel, profoundly moved by her mother's loving gesture. In that moment, Sunja realized that her path lay beyond Yeongdo village, and she would soon embark on a new chapter of her life. In the passing days, Yang Jin busied herself with the task of preparing Sunja's belongings. Holding her daughter's clothes close, she allowed her imagination to wander, already feeling the pang of longing that would consume her when Sunja departed for her new journey. During a visit to the market, Sunja encountered a fish merchant who bestowed upon her a keepsake, aware of her imminent departure to Osaka. However, her encounter took an unexpected turn when a Japanese soldier purposely beckoned her to his side. It led her to Han-soo, who sought to unsettle Sunja's unwavering faith. With deliberate intent, Han-soo vilified Isak, belittling him for his illness. In the face of this provocation, Sunja exhibited unwavering courage as she defended Isak, recognizing him as her husband and refusing to waver in her loyalty. Sunja emphasized the immense value Isak held in her life, saving her from the demeaning existence that Han-soo offered. She insisted that Han-soo could only provide material wealth, while Isak could offer her honor and respect. Sunja's firm resolve provoked Han-soo even further, further as she declared that he had no claim over the child she carried. In response, Han-soo threatened to forget Soon-ja, asserting that he would reject her even if she begged to return someday. Undeterred, Soon-ja remained resolute in her decision. As time passed, the moment of departure drew near and Soon-ja bid her farewells. Just before boarding the ship, she unexpectedly encountered a captivating singer who was poised to grace the stage and entertain the VVIP passengers. The singer extended her promise to perform for all those aboard the ship. The farewell between Soon-ja and her mother unfolded with dramatic intensity, filled with heartfelt advice and wisdom. Yang Jin, deeply invested in her daughter's future, even offered Soon-ja a wedding ring as a symbol of love and protection. However, Soon-ja declined, determined to sell the luxury watch bestowed upon her by Han-soo in order to sustain herself in Osaka. Yang Jin implored Soon-ja to let go of Han-soo, urging her to find strength within herself for the life that lay ahead. As Soon-ja boarded the Grand Cruise ship for the first time, her excitement gave way to bouts of seasickness, leaving her unable to contain her vomit. The narrative then shifted to an older Soon-ja, diligently packing her belongings for the journey back to South Korea. Meanwhile, Solomon, with a new stylish haircut that enhanced his handsome appearance, basked in the joy of a significant project signing on this day. Filled with pride, he boasted to his colleague Naomi about his success, aware that there may be individuals who harbored resentment towards his achievements, being the only Korean to attain such a high position within the company. In a contrasting turn of events, Soon-ja's journey back to South Korea filled her heart with joy, accompanied by her devoted son. Meanwhile, the old landowner arrived at Solomon's office to finalize the sale and purchase agreement. However, unexpectedly, the old woman hesitated, grappling with the weight of her decision. Sensing her hesitation, Solomon engaged in a heartfelt discussion, emphasizing the positive impact of selling the land and passing on the legacy to her family. As their conversation unfolded, Solomon revealed that Soon-ja had returned to South Korea, now traveling in style aboard a luxurious airplane. It marked a significant shift from her earlier departure when she had left without any possessions. However, a wave of different thoughts swept through the old woman's mind. Memories of her family's past as mine workers, enduring insults and mistreatment, resurfaced vividly. Although time had passed, those memories remained etched in her heart. Contemplating the situation, she questioned Solomon, pondering whether she should surrender her mines, even if it meant receiving a hefty sum in return. Seeking to evoke empathy, the old woman implored Solomon to imagine if this situation befell his own grandmother. She wondered if his advice to his grandmother would mirror the guidance he would offer her today. Deeply moved by her words and emotions, Solomon's heart urged him to intervene. With a surge of conviction, he earnestly requested that the old woman refrain from signing the agreement. As the project met its demise, Solomon faced the wrath of Mr. Andrew and Mr. Abe, enduring their scolding without showing any concern. Seeking solace, he sought refuge in the pouring rain, allowing the water to wash away his burdens. In a serendipitous moment, he stumbled upon a street performance by a lively band. With joyful abandon, Solomon danced in the rain, freeing himself from the weight of life's troubles. Witnessing his carefree expression, Naomi, who had just returned from work, couldn't help but smile. In another place, Soon-ja reveled in an overwhelming sense of happiness as she savored every corner of Yeongdo in South Korea. The story then shifted to a time when Soon-ja was young and aboard a cruise ship. Isak, attentive to her well-being, sought water for Soon-ja, who appeared pale and in need of support. In that very place, the enchanting Korean singer indulged in a meal with a group of Japanese government officials. However, her presence was met with disrespect from one of the officials seated beside her. Soon after, she was called upon to grace the stage and entertain the esteemed VVIP passengers. Her melodic voice filled the air as she flawlessly delivered a heartfelt ballad. In a courageous move, she dared to sing a Korean song, capturing the attention of the Korean passengers on board, who exuberantly expressed their enjoyment. It was as if she released the emotions she had long suppressed. Suddenly, Japanese soldiers arrived, intending to arrest her. Faced with this dire predicament, she chose to take her own life in front of the VVIP guests. After some time, Isak and Soon-ja finally arrived in Osaka, where they met Isak's brother, Yosep. Isak proudly introduced Soon-ja to Yosep, though a hint of awkwardness lingered in the air. Yosep made an effort to familiarize himself with Soon-ja, attempting to bridge the gap. Subsequently, Yosep extended an invitation for Isak and Soon-ja to visit Keong-hee's home. Soon-ja comes to realize that Isak's family once lived a life of affluence before the ravages of war. Now, Yosep and Isak are faced with the hardships of poverty. Soon-ja has gradually adapted to the atmosphere of their impoverished neighborhood in Osaka, but Isak still struggles to fully accept and comprehend their new surroundings. Yosep offers a word of caution, reminding Isak to be cautious as Japanese soldiers continue to monitor their presence in Japan. Soon-ja's heart fills with joy upon meeting the friendly Keong-hee, who evokes memories of her own mother, especially when she catches sight of a dish of white rice meticulously prepared by Keong-hee. In the evening, Yosep and Keong-hee engage in a heartfelt conversation about Soon-ja. Yosep harbors concerns that Soon-ja may not be a virtuous woman, merely using Isak for her own gain. However, Kyung-hee swiftly contradicts Yosep's thoughts, recognizing Soon-ja as a good match for Isak despite her pregnancy. In their separate sleeping quarters, Soon-ja and Isak engage in a heartfelt conversation about Soon-ja's lingering guilt and fear of not being accepted by Yosep and Kyung-hee. Recognizing her fault, Soon-ja expresses her concerns to Isak, who in turn offers reassurance and comfort. Grateful for Isak's presence as her protector and the guardian of her honor, their emotions intertwine and they find solace in each other's embrace, consummating their love as legal husband and wife for the first time. As the days turned into a month, Soon-ja settled into life in Osaka. One morning, she joined Kyung-hee in the task of drying clothes. Overwhelmed by her emotions, Soon-ja bursts into uncontrollable tears upon realizing that the clothes she intentionally left unwashed, a reminder of her mother, had been washed by Kyung-hee. Apologizing for her unintended action, Kyung-hee tries to console Soon-ja, assuring her that the pain she feels will eventually fade if she finds the strength to endure it all. The following day, Kyung-hee's house was visited by two intimidating loan sharks, demanding repayment of Yosep's debt. Overwhelmed by fear and confusion, Kyung-hee found herself at a loss for how to confront them. However, Soon-ja, displaying immense courage, stepped forward and boldly inquired about the amount owed. With unwavering determination, she promised to settle the debt within a few hours. Soon-ja firmly demanded the loan sharks to depart immediately, resolving to sell the watch given to her by Han-soo in order to fulfill her promise. She recognized that her decision to incur debt was a means to ensure the well-being of both Isak and herself. Soon-ja's bravery and resourcefulness shone through as she successfully negotiated with the watch buyer, ensuring she received the desired amount of money for the timepiece. Kyung-hee, in turn, felt a profound sense of gratitude towards Soon-ja, recognizing the invaluable life lessons she imparted. Despite her own confusion and struggles in navigating their newfound life of poverty, Kyung-hee found solace and guidance in Soon-ja's unwavering spirit. Furthermore, Kyung-hee lacks the same courage as Soon-ja when it comes to confronting individuals like loan sharks. Nevertheless, Soon-ja and Kyung-hee join forces to pay off all of Yosep's debts, experiencing immense joy and relief as they liberate themselves from the burden of financial obligations. In a separate setting, Han-soo is observed repurchasing the watch from a shopkeeper. Blaming Soon-ja for enduring a challenging life by marrying a financially disadvantaged man like Isak, Han-soo becomes determined to locate Soon-ja. His desire intensifies, particularly since Soon-ja is on the brink of giving birth to her child. Returning to the storyline, Solomon finds himself at a bar where he encounters Aojiki. Aojiki offers words of caution, advising Solomon to be wary of Mr. Abe after his recent disappointment. Concerns about his job consume Solomon's thoughts, particularly regarding his failure in the land purchase deal with the old lady. Aojiki, however, attempts to alleviate Solomon's worries, encouraging him not to dwell excessively on work-related matters. Aware of Solomon's relationship with Hana, Aojiki suggests that he search for her in Yoshiwara, a place where people often seek refuge from their homes. In the midst of their conversation, Naomi, also present at the bar, exchanges greetings with Solomon. Seizing the opportunity, Solomon invites Naomi to join him for a chat. Naomi expresses her delight upon witnessing Solomon's dancing in the rain, sensing the happiness radiating from him. Solomon explains the conflicting emotions he experienced during that moment, torn between disappointment in himself and the immense joy derived from the music and rainfall. The topic shifts to Hana as Naomi reveals she accidentally overheard Solomon's phone conversation with her. Solomon candidly shares his infatuation with Hana, yet laments his current lack of knowledge about her whereabouts. The following day, Solomon ventures into the slums of Yoshiwara in search of Hana. Serendipitously, he encounters Haruki, the father of one of his friends. Haruki warmly invites Solomon to his home, creating a sense of joy as Solomon finds solace in the company of friends and their caring families. Despite partaking in a simple meal, the atmosphere brims with happiness, akin to the warmth of a chosen family. Upon returning to his apartment, Solomon reaches out to his colleague, Tom, seeking answers about the covert sale of assets by the Kuroda company. Unfortunately, Tom delivers unexpected news: he has been dismissed from the company on the orders of Mr. Abe. Just as he absorbs this blow, Solomon receives a distressing call from Hana, her tearful pleas for help echoing through the phone, compelling him to take action and come to her aid. In another setting, Soon-ja and Mozasu have just completed the solemn task of scattering Kyung-hee's cremated ashes. Filled with a sense of purpose, Soon-ja embarks on a quest to locate her parents' final resting place. During her search, she unexpectedly reunites with Bo-ki, a former employee of her mother's inn. Their reunion evokes a flood of emotions, as the bond between them transcends time and distance, allowing them to release the longing they have held onto for nearly 6 decades. The scene transitions to a flashback of Soon-ja and Kyung-hee as young women, returning home after successfully repaying Yosep's debt. However, Yosep's reaction is far from appreciative. Consumed by his wounded pride, he perceives their actions as a blow to his self-esteem. Overwhelmed by shame and his role as the family's leader, Yosep's inflated ego leads him to lash out at Soon-ja, casting a negative influence over Kyung-hee and their entire family. Yosep remains unconvinced by Soon-ja's explanation that her valuable watch was an inheritance intended to support their lives in Osaka. Despite Kyung-hee's attempts to pacify him, Yosep's anger pushes him to storm out of the house. Meanwhile, Isak, fully engaged in his role at the church, assists a woman who seeks guidance for her son, a young man undergoing changes. In their encounter, Isak listens intently as the woman's son expresses his desire to fight for the rights of Koreans oppressed by the Japanese. Filled with fervor, he longs to join his fellow mine workers in a rebellion. Sensing the urgency, Isak earnestly advises him, drawing upon the lessons of past uprisings and the many lives lost. He strives to prevent history from repeating itself, sparing his community from further harm. Upon returning home, Isak is taken aback by Soon-ja's agonized expression, signaling that she is on the verge of giving birth. Despite her own pain, Soon-ja selflessly implores Isak to find Yosep and bring him back home. Simultaneously, Yosep vents his frustrations in a shop, reminiscing about his past days of wealth. In a timely manner, Isak arrives and extends an invitation to Yosep, urging him to return home. Isak then reveals that Soon-ja is on the brink of delivering their child, as Soon-ja had specifically requested Yosep's home. As fate would have it, a group of Japanese soldiers suddenly entered the shop, initiating inspections and subjecting the Koreans to punishment. Yosep sternly forbade Isak from intervening to aid the suffering man targeted by the soldiers. Instead, Yosep urged Isak to accompany him home. During their journey, Isak once again shared his heartfelt perspective on Soon-ja with Yosep. Isak believed that Yosep's perception of Soon-ja was unduly negative. As for Isak, Soon-ja was his life savior and he deeply loved her. Isak emphasized his unwavering commitment to protect Soon-ja and their unborn child. Meanwhile, Soon-ja herself battled through the arduous process of giving birth to her first son. Upon returning home, Isak was greeted with the joyous arrival of his firstborn son. Overwhelmed with emotion, Soon-ja and Isak turned to Yosep, recognizing him as the revered patriarch of the family, to bestow a name upon their precious child. Yosep, moved to tears, named his nephew Noah. In the following days, Isak devoted himself wholeheartedly to caring for Soon-ja and Noah. He embraced a more humble demeanor, eschewing his lavish suits of the past. Isak believed that in their current living situation, and in the eyes of God, his simplicity held greater significance. In another location, Han-soo decided to confess his past affair, but his wife displayed indifference as she had never truly loved him. She even expressed pity for Han-soo's son from Soon-ja, considering the unfortunate circumstances of having a father like Han-soo. The narrative then shifts to Hana and Solomon's relationship during their teenage years. Solomon developed deep affection for Hana, who impressed him with her courage and independent spirit. There was even an instance when Hana visited Solomon's school out of jealousy towards the attention he received from other female students. In a daring move, Hana invited Solomon to accompany her to a shop, despite his lack of funds. Solomon was hesitant, but his affection for Hana compelled him to oblige. In a moment of recklessness, Hana convinced Solomon to steal a piece of candy, unaware that their actions would be discovered by the shop owner. Consequently, Solomon found himself taken to the police station. However, his time in custody was short-lived, thanks to the intervention of a person in a position of power who managed to secure his release. Nevertheless, this incident prompted Mozasu to consider sending Solomon to the United States as a means of protecting him. Though reluctant, Solomon was ultimately compelled to accept this decision. Returning to the present, Hana has made her way back home, where her family awaits her at the hospital. However, the news delivered by the doctor is devastating. Hana has been diagnosed with the terminal AIDS virus, and her remaining time is limited. Despite the hospital's initial rejection, there is one compassionate doctor who offers to treat Hana in a separate room, and the hospital head agrees to this arrangement. In the following days, Solomon reunites with Hana. Determined to help her recover, he suggests that they seek treatment in the United States. Yet, Hana has already resigned herself to her fate and chooses to face her imminent death with serenity. Hana reveals to Solomon that her illness was contracted from a brief encounter with a Japanese man. Hearing her story makes Solomon uneasy. Shortly after, Etsuko arrives, showering Hana with love and attention, making up for lost time during their separation. Not only Etsuko, but Soon-ja also comes to assist in caring for Hana, taking turns with Etsuko. However, Hana appears upset at the sight of Soon-ja, as she blames her for the negative influence she believes she brought into Solomon's life. Deeply burdened by guilt, Soon-ja believes that she is the source of misfortune for her grandson. She urges Mozasu to send Solomon to the United States, sharing the story of her first son whose life she feels she ruined. Soon-ja continues to be consumed by remorse over her first son's tragic death. A little while later, Soon-ja was eagerly unpacking the homemade food she brought. Suddenly, Solomon arrived and blamed her for his recent job loss. Soon-ja calmly responded by reminding him that life is about choices. She shared her own story, explaining that she made the best decision by marrying Isak, even even though she had the opportunity to live a luxurious life with a wealthy man. The narrative then shifts back in time to 1923, showcasing the life of Han-soo and his father, Jong-yul, in Kanto, Japan. Jong-yul is skilled in using the abacus and works as an accountant at a Japanese-owned boxing arena. Han-soo, on the other hand, is a talented and intelligent young man who works as a private tutor for a wealthy American family. In the following days, Jong-yul proudly introduced Han-soo to his boss, Ryochi. Impressed by Han-soo's exceptional intelligence, Ryochi offered Jong-yul a position as a finance officer, hoping to recruit Han-soo as well. However, Jong-yul declined the offer, firmly believing that Han-soo deserved a better opportunity, such as continuing his work with the Americans. The very next day, Han-soo was diligently teaching the Holmes family when an unexpected proposition came his way. The Holmes family, particularly their son Andre, recognized Han-soo's brilliance and were deeply impressed by his teachings. As a result, they extended an invitation for Han-soo to accompany them to the United States. As time passed, Han-soo had a meeting with Mr. Holmes to deliver a letter from Mrs. Holmes. In the presence of his colleagues, Mr. Holmes wholeheartedly praised Han-soo's exceptional intelligence. Afterward, Han-soo and his father enjoyed a lunch together outside the horse racing stadium. As they sat there, Han-soo observed the impoverished Koreans who could only peer through the fence, while others gathered around to listen to the excitement of the races. Han-soo then shared the news that the Holmes family would be taking him to the United States. Upon hearing this, Jong-yul couldn't help but feel a tinge of sorrow for his son, knowing that Han-soo would have to become subordinate in order to pursue his dreams. Nevertheless, Jong-yul wholeheartedly supported Han-soo, urging him to embrace the opportunity and succeed in changing his life, the dreams that Jong-yul himself could never achieve. The following day, Han-soo unintentionally overheard a conversation between his father and his boss. To his surprise, Jong-yul had taken a large sum of money from Ryochi and was now burdened with the responsibility of returning it immediately. Seeking an explanation, Han-soo confronted his father about the situation. Jong-yul then revealed that he had used the money to support a Japanese woman he had developed feelings for. Jong-yul's foolishness, clouded by love, fueled Han-soo's determination to not repeat his father's mistakes. Han-soo, driven by his ambition, proposed the idea of borrowing money from the Holmes family. However, Jong-yul adamantly forbade it, fearing that it would jeopardize Han-soo's invitation to go to the United States with Mr. Holmes. Jong-yul firmly insisted that Han-soo should leave him, burdened with guilt for potentially hindering his son's dreams. The following day, Han-soo, in a state of desperation, sought out Ryochi, who was punishing Jong-yul for his wrongdoing. Jong-yul pleaded with Ryochi to spare Han-soo and not involve him in the consequences. Ryochi, empathetic as a father himself, understood Jong-yul's plea and the depth of his parental concern. In a sudden and devastating turn of events, an earthquake struck Kanto City, tragically claiming the life of Jong-yul. Han-soo was overwhelmed with grief upon hearing the news. Miraculously, Ryochi survived the catastrophe and urged Han-soo to join him in finding safety. Together with other survivors, they sought refuge on a hill, where Ryochi encouraged Han-soo to find strength amidst the loss and honor his father's sacrifice. Ryochi also advised Han-soo to seek shelter with the Holmes family. Arriving at the Holmes residence, Han-soo discovered the family in the midst of packing their belongings. With a sense of urgency, Han-soo implored Mrs. Holmes and Andre to make their way to the pier, albeit the only available route was on foot. In a cruel twist of fate, tragedy struck once again as an aftershock claimed the lives of Mrs. Holmes and Andrew. Han-soo was overwhelmed with panic and confusion in the midst of the chaos. However, a stroke of luck brought him face to face with Ryochi once more, providing a glimmer of hope in the darkness. As nightfall descended upon the devastated city of Kanto, a thick fog settled, shrouding the ruins. The streets were filled with lifeless bodies, a haunting testament to the destruction. Seeking refuge, Han-soo and Ryochi stumbled upon a tavern that offered some respite. In the midst of their surroundings, unsettling rumors circulated about escaped Korean prisoners turning to looting and poisoning wells, instilling fear and uncertainty among the Japanese citizens. As Han-soo and Ryochi pressed on, they came across a group of 4 Korean prisoners desperately seeking shelter from their pursuers, the Japanese. An elderly man, sensing their peril, offered them refuge in his barn. Han-soo stepped forward, attempting to bridge the language barrier and aid in communication between the old man and the prisoners. Meanwhile, Ryochi, aware of the impending danger, urged Han-soo to seek safety on a freight train, shielding him from the wrath of the angry Japanese seeking the escaped prisoners. Shortly after, a group of Japanese citizens arrived, questioning the old man about the whereabouts of the fleeing Koreans. With quick thinking, the old man deliberately misdirected them, leading them away from the hidden fugitives. However, suspicion lingered in the air, and one of the Japanese individuals became wary of a nearby barn. Their search came to a chilling end as they uncovered the secret refuge and promptly set it ablaze, sealing the prisoner's fate. In their ongoing journey, Han-soo and Ryochi eventually reached their destination, where Ryochi was relieved to find his family unharmed. With great warmth, Ryoichi introduced Hansu and stressed that he was now an integral part of their tight-knit family. Meanwhile, the story shifts to Sunja's life in Osaka in 1938. Noah, now 7 years old, had blossomed into a remarkable young boy. He displayed intelligence and courage beyond his years, even coming to the aid of a classmate who faced constant bullying. Noah invited his schoolmate to a celebration at their home, filling him with hope. At the same time, Isak eagerly awaited Noah's dismissal from school, his heart brimming with joy. As they journeyed home, Noah expressed a hint of envy towards his younger brother's upcoming first birthday celebration, which would be none other than Mosasu's. Isak reassured Noah, reminding him that they had celebrated his own first birthday in a similar fashion. Despite their financial struggles, they always endeavored to provide the best for Noah. Isak's heart swelled with joy as Noah chose a red thread, symbolizing a wish for a long and prosperous life. However, Noah's desires seemed to shift as he now yearned for more money. He hoped that Mosasu would choose the coin during the celebration, envisioning a future of wealth for his brother. Finally, Isak and Noah arrived home, ready to commence the doll ceremony, a cherished ritual for a baby's first birthday. The scene transitions to the present, where the Hana family has gathered to support Hana in her final days. Solomon finally confides in his father about his dismissal from work. He admits that he cannot return to the United States, but he has a plan to open a Pachinko business with Mr. Yoshi. However, Mosasu strongly opposes this idea, recognizing the cunning nature of their acquaintance and the lengths he would go to fulfill his desires. Despite his father's lack of support, Solomon remained resolute in his decision. He sought out Hana and wholeheartedly listened to her dreams. Overwhelmed with guilt for leaving Hana in the past, Solomon began blaming himself for their separation. In a heartfelt moment, Hana asked Solomon to promise her that he would strive to achieve all his dreams and seek justice against their former leader, who had consistently underestimated the Korean people. A few days later, Solomon was seen proposing a collaboration to Mr. Yoshi. He approached Mrs. Yoshi and appealed for her support in their mission to avenge Mr. Abe's actions. Their plan involved purchasing the land owned by an elderly woman who had adamantly refused to sell to Mr. Abe's company. Mr. Yoshi appeared delighted and displayed confidence in Solomon's determination to embark on this new business venture. In another place, Hana is accompanied by her mother in the final moments of her life. The reunion after years of separation is bittersweet, as their time together is limited. Emotions run high in this touching scene, filled with both joy and sorrow. Meanwhile, Mosasu carries a heavy burden of disappointment and guilt for the misfortune that has befallen Hana and Itsuko. Memories of his older brother, Noah, who faced similar hardships, flood Mosasu's mind. Sunja also reflects on Noah's experiences, but she holds on to a steadfast belief that Solomon will not suffer the same fate. As Hana approached the end of her life, Solomon arrived with a heartfelt intention. He took her to the hospital's rooftop, knowing that she longed for a Hawaiian farewell. In this serene setting, Solomon wanted to grant Hana a final day filled with happiness. Surrounded by those who loved her, Hana peacefully passed away, leaving a profound impact on all who were touched by her presence. In the days that followed, Solomon grappled with the grief of losing Hana. During this difficult time, Sunja reached out to him and presented a significant gift, the watch that Hansu had given to her. Initially, Sunja had considered it an unfortunate timepiece, but it proved to be a symbol of good fortune for her family. Sunja bestowed the watch upon Solomon, hoping that it would bring him luck. The scene changes when Sunja is taken aback when Noah rushes home, distressed by his father's absence. Sensing something amiss, Noah urges Sunja to accompany him to the church where Isak works. The scene is chaotic, with the church teeming with people as Japanese soldiers conduct a search. To Sunja's shock, Isak is arrested on false charges of involvement in a Korean rebellion, sparked by an informant's accusation. Filled with concern, Sunja tasks Noah with fetching Yosep from his workplace and informing him about Isak's predicament. Noah, demonstrating his intelligence and bravery, promptly retrieves his uncle and brings him to the police station to aid in his father's release. However, their efforts hit a roadblock when the officer insists on proving Isak's innocence before setting him free. With Sunja unable to understand Japanese, Noah takes it upon himself to decipher the conversation between Yosep and the policeman. Outside the police station, Yosep consoles Sunja and Noah, assuring them that he will free Isak. Sunja then strikes up a conversation with a woman she recognizes from the church, who reveals her intention to express gratitude to Isak. The woman explains how Isak has been a source of support and encouragement for Korean immigrants, instilling faith that assistance will arrive. She guides Sunja to a respected Japanese individual who holds the power to secure Isak's release. Meanwhile, Yosep confronts the harsh reality of losing his job due to the political nature of Isak's arrest. Filled with courage, Noah proposes that Sunja meet with the Japanese man recommended by the woman. With Noah serving as their translator, Sunja engages in a crucial conversation with Hasegawa. Hasegawa then shared with Sunja the profound conversations he had with Isak, where they both fought for the rights of Korean workers to receive fair wages, despite the risk of defying the Japanese emperor. These efforts became a source of trouble for Sunja and her family as Isak was arrested and their peaceful life was disrupted. Sunja found it difficult to accept this harsh reality as she witnessed the consequences of Isak's actions on their family's well-being. Shortly after, the police arrived to apprehend Hasegawa, intensifying the turmoil surrounding Sunja. She faced interrogation about her involvement in Isak and Hasegawa's cause, as the authorities suspected her of participating in a Korean rebellion against the Japanese government. The police accused Isak of being an instigator, but to Sunja, he was not just an agitator, he was her beloved husband and the father of her children. After the emotional encounter with the police, Sunja reunited with Noah, who had been anxiously waiting for her. Their return home took an unexpected turn when they discovered Isak being escorted by officers. Overwhelmed with sadness, Noah and Sunja chased after the police car, a poignant scene unfolding as Isak could only weep from inside the vehicle. As night fell, Sunja contemplated the future of her family and made a resolute decision to sell her ring to obtain capital for a business venture. Despite initial resistance from Yosep, who feared being perceived as incapable of providing for the family, Sunja emphasized that her intention was simply to support her children's upbringing through her entrepreneurial endeavors. The following day, Sunja embarked on her trading venture while Kyonghee cared for Mozasu at home. Sunja faced numerous challenges as she sold her kimchi at the bustling market. Despite facing mistreatment from some individuals, Sunja persevered and eventually succeeded in selling her products. In another part of town, Noah made his way to school, his expression filled with melancholy. Hansu approached Noah and inquired about his choice to take a longer route. Noah explained that he wanted to remember his father as that was the path his dad used to take. Hansu proceeded to share his own childhood experiences where he was denied the opportunity to attend school. However, through unwavering determination, Hansu managed to turn his dream into a reality. Noah was taken aback by Hansu's arrival, sensing a familiarity and connection between them. In the midst of their journey, Hansu shared with them the tragic news of his father's demise and the devastating Kanto earthquake. Despite his heartache, Hansu mustered the strength to press on and face the challenges ahead. With unwavering determination, he encouraged Noah to persevere and strive for excellence, urging him to become someone who would shine and achieve great success. Moral lesson from the story is that with perseverance and love, we can overcome any adversity we face. No matter how difficult the circumstances, our resilience and determination, along with the support of loved ones, can help us find strength, embrace challenges, and create a better future.